second Doctor was portrayed by actor Patrick Troughton. He was in the role for 119 episodes across 21 stories, with his first one being on the 5th of November 1966, being the first episode of Power of the Daleks, and his last one being the last part of the War Games on the 21st of June 1969. He was the Doctor from the third story of Season 4 through to the end of Season 6, and survived 3 years in the role. Now, some people have claimed that this Doctor is more comedic than his predecessor William Hartnell was, and often he's referred to as a clown. But it has led people to say that it is because of him that we get some of the more comedic sides of some of the later Doctors, which I suppose is true. And without Patrick Troughton leading the way in comical Doctors, we may not have been where we are today. Now, as I said, he was around for 119 episodes across 21 stories, but he would later on come back down the line. He would leave the role in 1969, but would return for the 3 Doctors in 1972, the 5 Doctors in 1983, celebrating the 10th and 20th anniversaries of the show, and also for a 3-part story in 1985 with the 2 Doctors. Now, at the moment, while a lot of his stories are available on DVD and Blu-ray and the like, there are some that are still missing, and there are a couple that are technically missing but have been recreated in animation, same as with William Hartnell's era, but currently 5 of Troughton's stories remain completely lost and have not yet been recreated. Those being the Highlanders, the Evil of the Daleks, the Abominable Snowmen, the Wheel in Space, and the Space Pirates. Now, whether those will be recreated in animation at some point or found completely, we can't say. Now, during Troughton's era, he ended up facing, of course, many adversaries. He carried over a couple from Hartnell's era, including the Daleks and the Cybermen, but he also fought foes of his own. The 2 biggest ones that have been recreated in the past few years being the Great Intelligence and the Ice Warriors. He fought those for the first time during his era. Now, during Troughton's age, like with William Hartnell, he had several different companions. He carried over 2 from Hartnell's era, those being Ben Jackson and Polly Wright, who travelled with him for a while. His longest-serving companion was Jamie McCrimmon, played by Fraser Hines, who appeared in Troughton's second story, The Highlanders, and remained throughout the entirety of his reign. The other 2 companions who Troughton ended up picking up along the way were Victoria Waterfield and Zoe Hediot, who both remained for a short time. But this was also the first time the Doctor encountered Brigadier Alistair Gordon Lethbridge Stewart, otherwise known as just the Brigadier, and that would later lead to the formation of a unit and the Doctor meeting up with several unit personnel, including, in Troughton's time at least, Corporal John Benton, who would later become Sergeant Benton later on in the series. Now, sadly, in 2 years after his appearance in The 2 Doctors, Patrick Troughton sadly died in 1987. But his legacy of Doctor Who isn't forgotten, and he was briefly recreated by actor Rhys Shearsmith at the end of the Doctor Who docudrama film An Adventure in Space and Time. Oh, I won't lie to you, I'm scared stiff. Oh, well, you'll be fine. In fact, you'll be wonderful. I told them, So one man in England who can take over. Oh, couldn't they get him? I have supposedly heard rumours that several other actors were considered for the part of the second Doctor, Brian Blessed among them, but you know what? We got Patrick Troughton, and while I've only currently seen 3 of his stories, Tomb of the Cybermen, The Invasion and The War Games, I can definitely appreciate the love that people have for him. So, that's all you really need to know on Patrick Troughton, the second Doctor. Although one last thing to mention, he was the last Doctor to technically be portrayed in black and white. So, will we hammer with number 3? Well, we'll get to that. Anyway, see you in the next one.